Yes, guys, you know what time it is. It's your boy David at the Irish Hotspur, Ireland's #1 Spurs fan, bringing you your pre-match build-up and everything else you need to know for today's game as Tottenham take on the Wolves, and they are hungry. It's time for them to be fed. A few bouts of Stop Crying Arteta, Ginger from Sweden, everywhere we go, and I am absolutely pumped for today's game. We are joined, of course, by the Don, the Godfather, Mr. Brady. How you keeping, my man?
Yeah, great. Love these Saturday match days. We don't have enough of them, really. So, yeah, pumped up for this one. I think it's going to be a good one, too.
Key word you said there is Saturday. Thank God we're playing on Saturdays. Like last year, we had a lot of Sundays, so thank God it's Saturdays this time round. And, of course, we are joined by Kuva Sexy. How are you keeping, my man?
Yeah, I'm almost awake. It's good. Yeah, looking forward to the game, but the usual worries, lunchtime kickoff, and getting overconfident against the team that does well against us at home.
Yeah, look, there's definitely a few concerns for sure. But look, Philip called me Spursy for having concerns beforehand. So look, we'll try to be confident going into today's game for sure. Let's welcome in a few people and then let's crack on with what we are here to talk about today. Rufus Roughcut, good to see you, says match day, and he loves it. Big up, brother. Dark Sung G, really appreciate the support, my man. He says 8:30 p.m. kickoff in Korea. So a nice early one for you this evening. So you should get to bed nice and early, my man. Says apparently we have scored 999 goals at home in the Premier League. So whoever scores would be the 1,000 goal scorer at home. I predict Son because he loves scoring on these occasions. Please 4-1. And then he also follows up and says, if we score today, we would be the 5th club to score 1,000 goals at our home game at home after the original top 4 of United, Liverpool, Blues, and Gooners. I feel like debut goal will come out today as well. And look, I that was actually a question I had today, Dark Sun G. Great minds do think alike, my man. And of course, we City, the only other top 6 team right now who haven't actually scored 1,000 goals at home. So the next goal, the next strike will be our 1,000th at home. And I mean, look, we'll start with you, Philip. I mean, if I gave you a favour to put a bet on the bookies, who's it going on today to score 1,000 goal?
Harry Kane. You know, for a number of reasons. I think he deserves to be the guy that gets it. And also, it's he'll be taking over as the leading scorer for one club in the Premiership. So he's every reason to go for that goal today. Saying that, it'll probably be an own goal.
Yeah. Hopefully not. But you're correct there. You know, Harry Kane's next strike will be his 185th for Tottenham in the Premier League, which takes him ahead of Sergio Aguero. He's currently joint top scorer for most goals for a single club in the Premier League. So Harry Kane's next strike will make him a record breaker. Kuva, who are you going with for the 1,000 goal today?
It's got to be Harry Kane, hasn't it? A bit of a romantic when it comes to these sort of statistics. So yeah, let's have it. Sort of club figurehead of the club for so many seasons, and yeah, why not? I mean, it wouldn't be a begrudging Sonny either, but I think this occasion, Harry Kane, it'll be a nice one.
Do you know what? As much as I wanted to be Harry Kane, I do have a feeling it probably will be Son. He scored a first competitive goal at the new stadium, plus scored 15 Premier League goals last season at home. So for me, I do think it might be Sonny, but I really, really want it to be Kane. Dark Song G, let me know who you want it to be, my man. Big yourself up, brother, and really appreciate the support. We've got Shamu in the house, says Smash. I like it. Get your score prediction, goal scorers in. I just want to win. Don't even care if it's an own goal. Jose Sa, disaster class. Hopefully, he's a very good goalkeeper, my man. Very, very good goalkeeper. Look, hopefully we get the win, but big up, Shamu. What time is it in New Zealand, my man? Carl Simpson says, morning, Dave. Early pump up. There is no better way to start a Saturday. No, there is not, my man. No better way whatsoever. Thank you for tuning in, Carl. We've got him. Big up, Dave, going out your way to do your pre-match pump up at 9 a.m. Big up. Nah, look, I'm not going out my way, my man. Honestly, I don't want to be awake sitting here twiddling my thumbs waiting for the game anyway. So, you know, why not get a nice pre-match build-up going? Big up, my man. Really appreciate the support. Rob Wallace is in the house. Do we want Man United smashed again or draw with Liverpool to keep them on 3 points? I'm torn on this one. Look, as much as I do enjoy Liverpool dropping points, I also see United. I love seeing United get destroyed as well. So, look, let's keep the last going. Let's keep the travelling circus going. And let's hopefully United get spanked. Welsh guys in the house. Big up, Welsh guys. Big up, lads. 3 points, please. Come on, you Spurs. We have Dam. Says Kulu, 1 goal and 1 assist. 2-1 Spurs. Absolutely love that. Big yourself up, brother. Dark Son G says, Tanguy, here we go. Announced. Oh, yes. Winks soon, please. But thank God for that, Dark Son G. That's Lacelso and Tanguy gone. Now we just need Winks out the door as well. And that'll complete the end of, what would I say, mediocrity at Tottenham, my man. Big yourself up. I really want Winks to go. But, Dark Son G, who's going to take him? You might have to ring one of them K-League teams, my man, and ask them, offer him out there. But big up, Dark Son G, brother. Really appreciate the support. We've also got Cam. We don't need a Cam. We need a centre-back, my man, so we do. But good morning, sir. I hope you're keeping well. We've got Peter Kipp says, no, Sanchez, man, I'll get behind him if he starts, but mistake is in him. Look, 100%, whoever puts on the jersey and starts, I will get behind. But as soon as he makes a mistake, I'm not going to sit there and big him up. I'll just not. But hopefully he doesn't make a mistake, though, my man. Big yourself up. Who else have we got? We've got Dunkel's Talk says, good morning, guys. Let's slaughter the Wolves today. Absolutely love that, my man. We've got R Green 216. Morning, chaps. Looking forward to kickoff. Come on, you Spurs. Big up R Green, my man. We're all looking forward to it. Big yourself up, brother. Big up Eamon Burns. Big up Carl Higgins as well. And big up Zoe as well. Good to see you in the chat. I hope you're keeping well. And then we've got Adrian Cheers says, big up, lads. Heading to church today to pray for a victory. Well, my man, hopefully you get there before the game and get home for the game as well, my man. And look, you know, you could have done with your prayers last week, I would say, more so than this week. But we'll take them where we can get them. So big up, Adrian. Really appreciate the support, my man. We'll take a few more and then we will crack on. Who else have we got in the house? We have Leggy the Fort. Love the name. Says, good morning, lads. Clean sheet today. 2-0 would do us. It's fine. I would love a clean sheet today. I really would. It give me a bit of confidence going into the next game. Paul Batty, big up, my man. He says, let's right the wrong from last year against Wolves. Come on, you Spurs. Yeah, look, lost 2-0 at home. Me and Philip flew in for that game. Harry Winks started 2-0 down after 25, 30 minutes. It was an absolute disaster for us. And even when we bet them at home, we were outplayed in the dominated possession. So for me, I do think it's about getting a big grip in midfield today. And I think that'll be the springboard for our victory. Leon M96 Crisis morning, lads. Another big result needed today. A huge one needed today, my man. Let's get it done. And then that'll be 7 points out of 9 that we dropped last season. So let's hopefully we can get the job done. Aussie Spurs TV, good morning, boys. Finally, great time to watch the Mighty Spurs here. Come on, you Spurs. Big up all the boys down in Australia. I'm glad you can all sit there and have a few beers today watching the games. Big yourself up. Guys, I do have a poll up in the chat, actually. You know, who do you want to see coming in for Romero today? Sanchez, Langley, Tanganga. Get your votes in and let us know. But look, I'm going to give, I'll just take a couple more, actually. I'm nearly there. And we've got Tom C says Langley is left-footed. He's only an option at centre-back or left-sided centre-back, not right-sided centre-back. Well, my man, that's what I was thinking. You could move Dyer over today and put Langley at centre-back. But look, we'll go into more depth on it in a little while, my man. And we've got Jamie Stubbs. Big up, Jamie Stubbs. I hope you're keeping well. He says, no one said Tanganga. Look, you've got to give the options. You can't just forget about him. He is an option. He does like playing there. Tom THFC says, big up David, Philip, and Kuva on Spurs today. 3-0. Absolutely love that, my man. Confidence flowing through your veins. Hotspur J says, morning, lads. Come on, you Spurs. We also have Rex Adar as well, tuned in from New Zealand. Big yourself up. Peter Spallan. He says Liverpool will score 7. Big up Alex Apostolo as well. Stevie Fraser, good to see you. Derek Hutchinson as well. Great to see you, my man. And Vignesh, good to see you, brother, as well. And then we have Dark Son G says, I would love Son first goal this season to be Spurs' 1,000th goal. Well, look, I mean, you'll probably be keeping an eye on Hwang today as well if he gets a shout for Wolves. But look, Kane, Son, either or, I'm happy, to be honest with you. I just want the victory. So if we score, we should end up winning the game, my man. So look, hopefully it doesn't matter who gets it. We just want it to come. Big up Dark Son G, brother. Really appreciate support. And big up John Fitzpatrick as well. And then Dark Son G says, To be honest, I'd rather use Royale at right centre-back and Spence at right wing-back. Do you know what? My only problem with this, Dark Sun G, is I don't think Emerson Royale is good enough on the ball technically. I think, if he was in at right-sided centre-back, sometimes he can play good, and then other times it takes him 2-3 touches to get the ball under control, and it can be sloppy, evident against Chelsea last week. And I'm just not sure if he's good enough on the football to play at right-sided centre-back. If he takes 1 or 2 touches, he will be pressed. And make no mistake about it, that Wolves forward line will be told to press our back line. I was watching something, I think it was yesterday or the day before, and basically, it was the Arsenal all for nothing. And Mikel Arteta, basically, tactics he gave his Arsenal team for the Tottenham game is if they pass it more than twice across their back line, we're in big trouble. So, look, we'll wait and see if that is the case today, but hopefully we can move the ball quickly. And big up Killian Gubins as well. I hope you're keeping well, my man. Long time no see. Big yourself up. Everybody, make sure you smash that like button, smash that subscribe button, and feel free at any stage to get your chats in and comment. Also, why not make it a super chat? Help everything we're trying to do here at this channel. It's a great way to support us. Plus, it highlights your comment. Skip the queue, and we will get straight to it. I'm just going to give everybody everything they need to know, and then we'll get Philip and Kuva in on this Tottenham loving here today. Guys, of course, kickoff is at 12:30 today, home at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Referee is Simon Hooper. In the VAR room, it's Lee Mason. So hopefully they make some good decisions today. TV channels, it's USA Network in the USA, BT Sport for UK and Ireland, and then I think it's Optimus Prime for Australia, and then Football TV, I believe, out in Canada as well. And guys, make sure you join me back here at 12:15 today for the watch along. Team news, of course, Romero's out with his muscle injury, expected to be out for 10 days after originally saying it was 3 to 4 weeks. So we're waiting to see what happens. But we might see him in contention for Nottingham Forest next week. And Oliver Skip still out with his foot, making good progress. Hopefully returning at the end of this month, according to Antonio Conte. Philip, we'll start with you. Wolves travel down to Tottenham today looking for their first win of the season and have a good away record versus Tottenham with 4 of their last 5 victories against us coming in London. How important is it we keep our unbeaten start today to the season and continue to build momentum? And what can momentum do for a team?
Well, the momentum they're bringing forward from last Sunday's late equaliser against Chelsea should be enough to see them through this game, in my opinion. Like, we owe Wolves big time for that debacle we went over to last season. I mean, none of the team turned up that day. It was just, embarrassing to watch. And Wolves will come along today thinking, we can do it again. But they're playing a different animal this time. Yeah. They're playing a really different animal. And they may not realize that until it's too late today. Momentum. We need to, these are the games we should be winning. We should be making the stadium an absolute fortress. Like, Southampton came to us there in the first game of the season, got a great start, and we thought, oh God, here we go again. But look what happened. They knuckled down, and they literally demolished Southampton in the 20th minute on in the game. Now, I don't want to see Wolves get a start today because, they'll think then Spurs players will be thinking, oh God, here we go again. Here's last season revisited. So I don't see that happening. I hope to see a fast start from Spurs. None of this tapping the ball around the back 10 times to get across the halfway line. Get at Wolves, get at them. They haven't had a great start to the season. They haven't got their talisman striker, Jimenez, playing. And they've lost Connor Cody as well, who was one of their best centre-backs. So, I don't think we should be fearing Wolves today. I don't think we should be fearing anybody at the moment. We just go at them. We are Tottenham. We've got Conte as a manager. They're a mid-table team. We're a Champions League team. So go for it.
And plus, we have to remember, we've got Man City on the 10th of September as well, 4 games away. And between them, we have very winnable games like Wolves today, Forest, West Ham, Fulham. So we need to keep picking up points and stay as close to them as possible going into that fixture. And also capitalise on Liverpool dropping points. So keeping up this momentum is going to be absolutely crucial. Now, Kuva, last year in this fixture, when we played Wolves at their place, we were lucky to get out with a win when we had Nuno in charge. 18 shots on our goals. 1 year on, are we a completely different team altogether in terms of quality, personnel, passion, and potential?
When you look at the some of the players we brought in, you'd say yes, but they're not playing, are they? They've got the injuries on some of them. Romero's going to be a massive miss. So I suppose it is comparable to last season, because I think Romero was injured at the beginning of the season, wasn't he? So who's going to come in in the defence? That's the real key question for me.
Mm.
And do you go really brave and just say, what the hell? Let's just bring in an extra midfielder on or another attacker, and just go for it, maybe. But we seem to do well better against Chelsea when we brought Richarlison on and went to a back four. It's options to have that we didn't have last season. That's good, at least. But lunchtime kickoff, they got one of the best goalkeepers in the league. Goalkeepers have a habit of turning up at our place and playing a blinder. There's little worrying things for us, but we should have enough, surely. I mean, Sonny, Kane, they're both due to come off the mark at some point. Why not today? There's records to be had for both of them. Yeah, I mean, even if a tough game, I'd imagine we've got enough to beat them, surely. Perisic is fit enough to at least come off the bench. I'd hope he'd start, but you just don't know what's going on with some of the players. Suma's a key one as well, because we know him in the midfield. If we get hold of the midfield like we haven't been doing quite so much in recent games, Southampton were poor. Wolves aren't going to be that poor, surely. I think they're going to be well drilled. But as Philip said, Jimenez missing is a big one, because they've got very little cutting edge up front as it is. With him, you've got to imagine it's going to be a better prospect. But I'll mention this on another stream. The one I'm worried about is the likes of Dendoncker. He's this big lump that gets in the box, and we're so fragile on set pieces. Yeah. That could be the Wolves' game plan today. Get as many free kicks in and around the area as possible, get the corners coming in, and just see us crumble under it. That might be the plan. I mean, it seems like a logical one for me, but we'll see.
Yeah, look, and it wouldn't surprise me if Sanchez was playing, if they target him by putting balls over his head as well. But look, what I will say is I do think this, from like the Nuno victory last season at more or less the same stage of the season, I do think we have improved in terms of personnel, in terms of quality once these new signings come in. But I would say, even if you look at like Bentancur, Kulusevski, the impact they've made. So look, I'm expecting maybe to see a better performance against Wolves. One thing I will say is I know they haven't had two great results so far this season, but they dominated possession in both of them games. They dominated possession in the two games against us last year as well. The only problem is they cannot score. And without Jimenez today, hopefully that works out in our favour. Have Wolves progressed from last year? I wouldn't say so, I know they made a couple of new signings this summer and stuff, but when I look at them, they still have the same problems. For me, it was always their backline that has kept them in the Premier League, because they barely average one goal a game across the course of a season. So what I will say is it'd be interesting to see how far Wolves has come, but I do think we've made better strides, and hopefully we'll see a different Tottenham turn up against Wolves today. Philip, and do you think Conte now has a better understanding after watching the first half versus Chelsea where his weak links are, or his weaknesses are in the team?
Yeah, well, I think first half against Chelsea, Tuchel outmaneuvered Conte. There's no doubt about it. But in the second half, it was a different game altogether, much more level, much more even. So yeah, he'll have taken note of that. But I think you can't really compare the two games. I don't think Wolves will come at us today for the simple reason they know how good we are on the break. So I think Wolves will sit in and try and hope for a breakaway goal for themselves, or from a set piece, as you say, which we're vulnerable at. So yeah, I'd say Conte will have learned it, but he will also be drilling in it. Like he can't tell this team, oh God, this is Wolves. They beat us last year. Let's be very careful. He's got to go out there and say, listen, lads, we're at home. We're expected to dominate possession. We will dominate possession. Don't let them out of their own half. Keep them pressed in there. That's what we should be doing at home. That's what Liverpool do every game, religiously every game. And we should be able to do that now with the attacking players that we've got. So I would say, yes, he'll have learned from last week, but it's also a totally different game. like, let's face it, Chelsea, man for man, are a much better team than Wolves.
Mm.
When you think about
True.
it.
True. Philip, do you see Tottenham maybe because we're at home pressing Wolves today rather than maybe sitting back in shape like we did against Chelsea?
I hope so. Yeah, I hope so, because we pressed Southampton a lot of the time. I mean, and it worked, you know. And like, I hate seeing us pressed, but I love seeing us press other teams.
Yeah.
You know, you know.
That's because we can't deal with the press. We don't have technical players at the back.
Problem. Yeah. No, I think today now it could be. It's okay. It's going to go one of two ways. Right, we're going to be sitting there at 3 o'clock, absolutely elated, or we're going to be saying, "Oh Jesus, here we go again." You know, and I feel it's going to be that first one, not the second one.
Oh, stop. William Kelly says, can't wait to see Winksy today. I'm so excited. Oh, wait, he doesn't get in the team anymore. Shit. What I will say is, when I turned up last year and I was walking up Tottenham High Street and I found out Winks was starting, I did feel like turning around and going straight back to the airport. Philip, Ollie was the same. Dermatron was the same. I mean, we just kind of knew what to expect. But until I see that starting lineup, there's still a potential for it to happen, William. There is still that potential for him to sneak his way in. You never know with Winks. He's probably sent Conte some cigars, you know, a nice Italian dressing robe, a bit of Ben Kaufman's coffee. You just never know with this guy. He will do anything to start. So until I see that lineup, I'm not discounting it, because last season I got very, very disheartened very quickly before the game when he was in the starting lineup, and you just never know where that fucker's going to appear.
The only thing I'll say, David, that might be a downside. Did you see the training video the Spurs released this week? The video of the team training. Harry Winks was in it. He was in the dressing room with the squad.
That's preparation to bring him back in, because there's no interest, in my opinion.
Yeah.
There's a lot of interference on your mic, David, I think.
Yeah.
On mine?
Yeah, quite a lot of buzzing noise.
Come on from somewhere, yeah.
Right, okay. I'll be back in 1 second. You just talk for 1 minute.
I think talking about Winksy, David saying, "Oh, he might bribe them or something like that. Might bribe Conte with cigars and all that."
Don't think
so. Don't have to worry about that, because anything Winksy delivers never arrives, does it? It's always sideways.
Yeah, it's true.
It's the first one that'll have "Return to Sender" on it written before they've even tried to deliver it.
I know. Winks won't be a part of it today. Like, he's not even training with the team, so he won't be there. No.
I know this is very unprofessional, boys, but is it better now?
No, still there. Is there a radio on the background or something? I can hear some music somewhere or something in the background.
No. What about now?
Still a little bit. Yeah.
Keep going. It's not too bad.
What about now?
That's better.
Yeah, it's better. Yeah.
Okay, there we go. We've got it. Usually I have Jack to do this for me beforehand, you know. But look, he's not here today. He's on holiday, so we've got it sorted. That's all that matters. But big up, Rob says, big up the panel. Come on, you Spurs. Big yourself up, Robbie, my man. Really appreciate the support, brother. What's the weather like in New Zealand today, my man? Do let us know. And will you be having a beer watching the game as well? It's a nice time for you, brother. Big yourself up, my man. Really appreciate the support, Robbie boy. But look, guys, we'll keep moving on. I mean, Philip, do you think Conte has a better idea where the new signings actually need to come in to improve this 11 after the game?
I think he's got a plan. He's going to ease them in gradually. Okay, he's going to start with, excuse me, Perisic will start today, I think. Carlson will come off the bench. Longley will probably play. So that's 3 of them involved. We've got Jed Spence, who will come in later on in the season, I think. Basuma probably will feature today as well. So they'll all feature, I'd say, by the middle of September or so. But he's not rushing them in. He's not making wholesale changes, which is quite right. Wholesale changes never work. Just do it gradually and ease them into the team, get them to know the format, the way we play. And by Christmas, they'll all be regulars.
I hope so, because look, that's the whole idea of bringing in these players to improve that 11 from last season. I mean, same to you, Kuv. Do you think Conte knows exactly where these new signings need to be maybe even dripped in even as early as today?
I think Philip's right saying easing them in. As much as I'd like Perisic to start today, I think it's going to be Sessegnon starts again. There's something going on there that's not, I can't quite explain, whether it's a fitness issue or just adapting to other players around him. But There's something going on, or is it giving Sessegnon a little extended run to see what he can actually do before saying, you know what, you're just not gonna keep that first team spot. It could be Sessegnon has upped his game in training considerably. You'd like to think we still have that system in place that if you do impress the manager in training, you get your chance. But
yeah,
you look at the Chelsea game and you think, surely Perisic starts, surely Basuma starts as well. But we'll have to wait and see on that one. It's kind of intriguing in that from that viewpoint. And the big one then for me is Richarlison, because he made quite a difference when he came on. We were much more aggressive up front, much more physically, much more of a physical presence. Yeah. Do we want to do the same tactic with Wolves and really get at them and get them on the back foot? That would, in a way, they say best form of defence is attack. So if we get them on the back foot and really look to score a few goals, perhaps that solves the problem at the back for us.
Yeah, look, hopefully, and look, we'll touch on Richarlison a little bit. I mean, do you drop Sonny? Do you maybe drop Kulusevski to keep them, keep a firecracker up their arse and bring in Richarlison? But look, we'll get on to that in a little few minutes. I have one more question for you, Kuva, before we go into talking about these centre-backs. No doubt that'll take up most of our time today. But Kuva, is the Chelsea match maybe a blueprint game for Spurs that we can follow when we have to get back into these games to get a result in games where maybe we have not played well?
In a way, yes, because it was a big shake-up. I mean, I don't think anybody could have predicted we'd go to a 4-2-4 formation. I mean, that was something else. That was just saying, you know what, this isn't working. Let's really change it up. As I said, Richarlison coming on was a big difference. The whole sort of feel to the game changed there. It was suddenly us taking the game to them. And you've got to have that ability to change up. We did not have this option last season.
Yeah.
It simply wasn't. With Dane Scarlett on the bench, Dane Scarlett's a promising young player, but he's not ready to do what Richarlison can do yet. He's a different type of player, full stop. Yeah. But, of course there's a blueprint for changing things up. It's you've got to have that. You've got to have options.
Yeah.
You look at Man United in their prime. They had two sets of forwards, didn't they? And they could change it at any time.
Yeah.
So we're better for it, and options is always a good thing. Can't argue with it. The real question is, have we got enough quality in over the summer to improve that first 11? And in some ways, you say probably fallen short a little bit because there's so much more we could have done. Hopefully, this isn't going to. It's not these sort of matches where we see that just falling short when that extra player would have made the difference. We'll see. I think it's going to be a harder game than a lot of people give Wolves credit for.
But look, Antonio Conte gave Wolves a lot of respect in the build-up to this game, so he did a hell of a lot of respect in the build-up to this game. So, look, Antonio Conte is not taking it easy whatsoever, so be interesting to see what way they line up, what way we line up, whether they stick to their back four or go to a back five to match us up. Be very interesting today tactically as well. Dark Song G says Conte only fined, which is great, while Tuchel got a one-game ban. I mean, absolutely fantastic. I mean, Chelsea fans were already crying. Well, they're going to be crying even more. I mean, Philip, you've got a big smile on your face.
Yeah, I was going to say, there'll be floods in West London now. The tears flowing down Chelsea High Street after this. I mean, it's perfectly, absolutely, FA's got it spot on. Tuchel was the aggressor at the final whistle, and there is no way Conte deserved to get the red card. In fact, Tuchel should have been sent off during the match for his Linford Christie impersonation down the touchline at the second goal. He left the technical area. That's a yellow card offence. But Anthony Taylor missed it. So for Conte to get away without a ban and just a fine is absolutely dead on. And Tuchel could go and cry in the stands whenever they actually enforce it.
Oh, stop. Chelsea fans. They were already being the celebration police. Now they're going to be the crying police. Absolutely love that, Dark Song G. He also says Wolves' weak link is Aït-Nouri. He's a very bad start so far. I believe that's the left back, is it? I believe Dark Song G. Yeah, look, Kulusevski will run right against him, Dark Song G, my man. No fear about that. Kulu Sexy will turn up today. And hopefully Aït-Nouri has another bad game, brother.
And then Dark Sun G says, I saw an article that Valencia are interested in Winks. Yeah, look, I've also seen many articles saying Everton, big clubs. I've seen articles saying he's been offered out to Italy, Spain, none of them. Look, I'm not surprised they don't want to take him. So, look, people tell me, oh, he's worth 20 million, he's worth this, he's worth that. At the end of the day, his football ability isn't the best. Like I'd say to people, what manager is going to sit there and say, I have a problem transitioning the ball from the back line to the forward line? Winks is my answer. What manager is going to sit there and say, I have a problem competing in midfield? Winks is my answer. Not going to happen. Look, Winks probably might end up having to take a championship club and rebuild himself back up, but I'm not surprised because I always believed he was probably that level anyway. So, look, I'm not sure whether we will get him out the door. Only time will tell, my man, but big up, Dark Song G, brother. Really appreciate the support.
I think Valencia, they got a habit of half-finished projects like their stadium, so Winks would fit in with a half-finished.
Winks isn't even half-finished, Kuva. I mean, he's barely even got going, to be fair. You have to get going to be half-finished.
Maybe they're going to hire him as a bricklayer.
Philip, our preparation for today's match against Wolves, of course, was thrown into chaos after defender Christian Romero picked up a muscle injury and will miss today's game. How big of a loss is Romero, Philip?
It's not chaos. That wouldn't go so far as to say chaos. Yeah. He's a big loss, certainly. I mean, he's our most influential defender. He's our most vicious defender as well when it comes to the opposition, so we will miss him, yeah. But I mean, I don't think we should focus too much on that. We should focus on the players that are on the pitch. They're the ones who are going to do the job. And while Romero will be a miss, it's important to know who's going to replace him. Now, if it's Sanchez, I think we'll all be putting our head behind the couch for a while during that match. Longley, it's not his side. Tanganga, possibly. It's a tricky one to go, whether Conte switches round the back five and puts Winks again, puts Dyer in for Romero and puts Longley in the middle. That could happen. I just don't know. Romero is a loss. Hopefully it's only for this match and we'll get over it. But it's just unfortunate, coming off such a great result that our most influential defender is the one that gets missing for the next match. Yeah. It's really unfortunate. But we should. Okay, I'd be more concerned if we'd lost Romero and the midfielder as well, or with one or two players injured. But we've only got the one. We can cope with that. We can cope with it. As you say, Wolves don't score that many goals, and I think we'll be okay without them.
I really hope so, Philip. I really do, because I'm not going to lie. You know how I feel about this back line with Romero winning, regardless without Romero. So I'm slightly nervous, but look, I'm going to try my best, to look at the end of the day, I'll be behind them, from the first minute, but hopefully after 5 minutes, they don't piss me off, but we'll wait and see. But look, we'll start with Kuva and come back to Philip. But Kuva, who should get drafted into our back line today? Clement Langley, Davison Sanchez, who replaced Romero when he was out last season, or even Japhet Tanganga, and why?
I'm kind of going with Derek Smith's comment here. Sanchez did okay last season when he came in for Romero. We know how bad he can be, but he can also be very good, and I think people forget that. He does have good games as well. Wouldn't it be funny if we play him and his extra height, free kick for us, we score from that, and there's Sanchez that gets nice. The 1,000th goal.
No, that kill me.
Oh, dear, it'll be good. I bet you get good odds on that though. Probably. Yeah, I think the natural replacement has got to be Sanchez. If you're not going to play Sanchez to replace Romero, then why have we still got Sanchez? It's his natural position.
That's my biggest question, Kuva. Why do we still have him?
Well, why do we have quite a few of these players? We're stuck with them at the moment. Couldn't get rid of them all in one window. Yeah, I think for me, Longley's a much better player, but suited on the other side and perhaps not quite ready fitness-wise anyway. So we'll have to see if he is ready. There is that option of putting Dyer on the right, or Longley will be good enough to play on the right if he has to anyway. It's not like it's suddenly a foreign game if you play in a different position, is it? The principles are the same. Well,
hang on. Most people pre-season would make that excuse for Sanchez. It is entirely different, apparently. Just saying.
Yeah, well, yeah, football's entirely different from being on the bench. That's for sure. No, he should be all right. He should be all right. I'm not really concerned about that. I'm more concerned about our collective inability to deal with basic defending, especially from set pieces. We're just woeful. I mean, against Chelsea, that's just unforgivable. They can get a score from a corner, unmarked volley into the goal. I mean, if a big defender like that wins the header or something against a smaller man, you'd say perhaps you should have somebody else picking him up. But to get a free volley, it means the ball's dropped so far down to the ground that anybody could have marked him. And we just don't even do basics like that. And we've got this free kick specialist in the club now. Perhaps they're on holiday for the first couple of weeks.
Must have started, yes.
Oh, look, I say this to people. You can position all these people you want. You can get this guy, and that's his job. Put them in the best positions to give them the best chance to go and win that header and stuff like that. But you can't make the player hungry enough to go and do it. That's on the individual. So, look, it'll be interesting to see how we get on from set pieces today. Big shout out to Ollie Freeman, who's working today. Big up, brother. Has us on in the work van. And then big up, Simon Cohen. Good to see you, my man. Great to see you. It's been a long time. And then we are Tottenham TV are in the house as well. Rise and shine, you know. Benji, you're going to the game and we're up before you. What's going on, brother? What is going on, my man? Big yourself up. I mean, Philip, again, same question to you. Who do you think should be drafted into this back line to replace Romero today and why? And then I'm going to need 5 minutes to have my say after.
Only 5? All right.
So I'm conscious today.
I kind of agree with what Kuba says, and the reason that I go for Sanchez for this is one reason that he wasn't at the Spurs team last season. Competition for places. He knows now he slipped down the pecking order with the arrival of Longley and possibly somebody else. So this is what we've got now: competition for places. So that should be enough for guys to increase their game, to increase their intensity, to know that if they feck up in the next match, they're out of it. So that's why I'm hoping he realizes this is his chance to redeem himself in the eyes of a lot of Spurs fans. Plus, it's his natural position as well. It's right back, right wing, right centre back. And as Kuva said, he hasn't really made absolute hames of things recently. Okay, I know he's done it in the past, but I think he's probably the most logical one we'll go for and play him in Romero's position. I could be totally wrong. He might move Dyer over, but I would give Sanchez a chance to redeem himself today.
Do you know what?
Triggered.
Do you know what? No, look. Let me start by saying this. Sanchez probably will start. When Romero was injured last season, he was the guy that came in. Now, look, I text Ben this last night, but him and Danny...
I'm timing you.
Yesterday on We Are Tottenham TV, Danny and Ben were going on about Sanchez. The way they were describing it, I thought I was getting prime Toby Alderweireld. But look, for me... Look, let me start by saying I believe Langley, I do think it will be Sanchez, but I believe Langley should be brought into centre-back and move Dyer across the right back. Langley's ball-playing ability, because we're going to miss Romero's, Sanchez, Dyer and Davies, as we've seen plenty of times last season. We've even seen it against the Roma game. Can have 45 minutes worth of possession, passing it from left to right, cannot progress it into midfield, and we still went 1-0 down. So for me, in order to replace that ball-playing ability out of the back, you've got to bring Langley in it. Because when Langley came on against Roma, all of a sudden we started getting forward. So having that ball-playing ability out from the back is absolutely massive to this Tottenham team. We rely on it. I don't want to go back to what I've seen against most of these teams last season, especially before Conte really got us going, which was pumping long ball up to Harry Kane on 50 yards to the left or 50 yards to the right of him, expecting Son and Lucas to get on the ball and beat 7-8 players just to get us up the pitch. That's why I want Langley to come in today and move Moon Boots across, just purely for that ball-playing ability. Look, for me, I just don't think Sanchez is good enough to be at Tottenham Hotspur. Everyone wants to talk about the first 3 games of last season he played and the last 3 games, but no one wants to talk about October, November. The guy was absolutely shambolic. Emerson looked like half the player beside him, and everyone was whipping Emerson apart for what was going on. But then as soon as Sanchez came out and Romero went in, Emerson looks like a completely different player. And not enough people talk about it. Look, I get we want these guys to do well, but I'm also not naive to their flaws either. And for me, I just see trouble on the rise. And I've seen balls going over Sanchez's head. He doesn't know where they are. You don't know what you're going to get from him. I've seen him play good games on the football, and then I've seen him be absolutely atrocious like Bambi on ice. So for me, that inconsistency will end up becoming costly at some stage. So for me, I would rather see Langley come in here. I thought that was the whole reason why we signed Langley and hopefully getting in another one is to give these guys competition, is to have different options, is to maybe have a ball-playing defender that we didn't have last season when Romero was out injured. Saying that, Sanchez probably will play. I will get behind him, but he just better not piss me off, because anytime I try to get behind that back line, within a minute or two, I'm already pissed off. And then I'm justified to be pissed off because I spot one thing, and then it usually leads to us conceding. So for me, I do have massive concerns about Davinson Sanchez coming in today. But look, I do think it probably will be him to start. Any of you guys want to counteract what I have to say here?
That's only 2.5 minutes, David. You haven't started yet.
Do you know what? I don't want to go too in on Sanchez. I really don't. I'm trying my best. Look, I'll be honest. From Monday to Friday, I will debate anybody for as long as it takes on Davinson Sanchez. Game day, I'll give my thoughts, but I'm not going to go and smash into the guy, because I do want him to do well. At the end of the day, I want the 3 points. I want the clean sheet. I want him to do well. But guys, do you take what I'm saying about this ball playing out from the back? Like when you looked at Roma and then Langley coming in, look at the difference it made. That's a prime example of what I mean.
Absolutely. You're right.
There are other options though, aren't there? You could also shove Davis over to the right and bring in Longley on the left there, because Davis is versatile enough to do it. It would be that solid, if uninspiring defender alongside Emerson as well. Then he's going to be a lot better with Davis covering than Sanchez covering him. Also, we could just put in the extra midfielder there, like I was saying before we went on air. What about bringing in Basuma? Just play with Davis and Dyer in the back two, which is dodgy, but give them the.
Is that not then a reflection on how bad our backline is if we're bringing in another midfielder just to?
Yes, it is. Yeah, quite frankly, yes. But I mean, if you can't be good enough at the back there, get the solidity in front of them, so stop the ball coming in so often. Then that also enables you for the midfield to bring the ball out rather than having to be one of the central defenders. So you can do effectively the same role, just a different person doing it. It'll be like a more advanced centre back putting a Basuma in there and still strengthening through the middle. I think the crux of it for me is we do not have an awful lot of quality at the back there still. That's why we're still saying about, so much still needs to be done in terms of signings for this club. Davis, Dyer, Sanchez, they're just not good enough, are they?
No, they're not. And I see a few comments here. It's not only Craig. I've seen a few saying Dyer will get roasted at right-sided centre-back. Well, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Have I not seen Sanchez roasted at right-sided centre-back? I mean, I know he's got a bit of pace, but I keep telling people pace does not make a fucking footballer. Look, it's all well and good saying you can't move Dyer out there because he'll get roasted. But let's not go on like Sanchez does not get absolutely roasted. There. It's just naive, in my opinion. It's just naive. But Philip, before I lose my mind here, please, have you something to say?
I don't see radical change. Certainly don't see Davis coming over to the right. I don't see us playing 4-3-3 either. So I think we're going to have to put up with Sanchez today and hope that there's no errors made and that we get through the game without him. The Kuba's a good point there, but bringing an extra midfielder in to shore up the defense is a little bit. Is an option, but to me, that's actually giving the initiative to Wolves.
Yeah.
They've changed the team because they're scared of us. Let's go and exploit that. No, I think we'll stick with the usual 5 at the back, or 3 at the back and 2 wing backs. So, and I mean, I hope at 3:00, David, we're sitting there praising Sanchez for his performance.
I want to be.
Let's hope we are, and that's. Hopefully, it's only a 1-game scenario that next week we'll not be even thinking about it because Romero will be back in where he belongs.
it better be a one-game scenario. That's all I'm saying. Because if it, and this people say this about Sanchez, he's good enough for 1 or 2 games, but anywhere after that, he's an absolute calamity. But please, people, stop telling me Dyer will get roasted at right side of centre back and excusing Davison Sanchez. The guy gets roasted more than a packet of fucking roasted peanuts in defence. So let's not be naive about this, please. I beg you, because I woke up in a good mood, but it's very, very quickly descending me into a bad mood. Stop this crap pretending that Sanchez doesn't get roasted in the same position. Pace does not make a player either. There's so much more to it than pace. You know, if you like pace, go and watch the 500-meter hurdles or the sprints and stuff like that. You know what I mean? It does not make it's a handy tool to have, but it does not make a player. OG Lowe says, Coover, your work rate matches Prime Kante. You're on every Spurs podcast and chat. I want to see Spence at some point today. Come on, you Spurs. Coover, what would you say to my man, OG?
Cheers, OG. Yeah, I was on the stream with him the other day. Good lad. Yeah, I'm on a few of them. Professional guest, that's me.
Better than being a professional anarchist, I suppose.
Maybe. Talking about the Dyer getting roasted, but on the flanks. Look at the other flank. Ben Davis gets roasted all the time too. We've seen it. Even Sessignons gets roasted. I mean, there are pacey wingers about. They are going to cause you problems like that. All you can do is hope that collectively you've got it covered. I think that the real key is going to be. I didn't think I was ever going to say this, but can Emerson step up to give a bit of protection to that right-sided centre back this time? Because it's usually the other way round where you need them supporting Emerson.
Because he's
see how far he's come on, shall we, defensively?
I think that's down to tactics. Because Emerson is asked to get forward. You know, it's kind of what you like when Romero's there. Romero covers for him an awful lot, and I think that's the way it needs to be if you're asking Emerson to get forward rather than the other way around. But for today's case, it wouldn't be a bad idea maybe to ask Emerson to just tuck in a little bit and just help protect that back line. Maybe that way instead of having to bring in another midfielder. OG Lowe, do you want to see Spence? Look, I think it would be nice to see Spence. I really want to see him given a run out. I actually believe Spence will surprise a lot of people. But do I see it happening today? I'll be honest, I don't. If anyone comes off the bench, it'll be Doherty just to keep up with his recovery from his injury, in my opinion. I think we might have to wait till a Learning Round League Cup maybe to get a glimpse of Spence. But I do want him to play at some stage. Big up OG Lowe, my man.
The good thing about Perisic as well, either wing back.
Yeah.
You know one thing could happen today? Do you know the way football has a funny habit of evening things up and leveling things up? Remember Sessegnon was substitute after 22 minutes last time against Wolves, right? And he had the walk of shame around the pitch to huge applause, I might have from the crowd. Wouldn't it just be ironic today if he did start and he absolutely plays a blinder and scores the winning goal? And it's the sort of thing that can happen because it'll be in his mind today to undo the wrongs that were done to him last season by Wolves. He could come out there for all guns firing, and he could be our secret weapon today if Conte can prime him up to get into that frame of mind. That's if he starts, obviously.
Do you know what? I really want him to play well. But for me, it just highlights the inconsistencies. How can you be up 1 week, down another week, and up another week? That's the problem at Tottenham Hotspur. I think that's what we need to iron out. But for games like today, and like you said, Philip, I actually felt really, really bad for him. Because when you take a player off that early, it looks like he's the scapegoat for what went on. Even though he wasn't as bad. He was just a tactical change. That's why he's got took off. We all know why we lost that game because of a certain Harry Winks. So hopefully he can actually put in a good performance today. Because you're right, Philip. I think everyone in the ground that day felt bad for him. Big up OG Lowe, brother. Really appreciate support. Dark Sung G says, people say offense is the best defense. So go for it. Look, 100%. 100%, especially at home. You've got the crowd behind you. You know, you've got everything working in your favor. Go at them. When you don't have the ball, press them back. What I want to do at Tottenham is get to maybe where City and Liverpool are at. As soon as you lose the ball, go and hunt it and get it back and start getting on the ball and dominating again. But big up Dark Song G.
There we go. That's the other alternative to Romero, isn't it? Bring on Richarlison for him.
Yeah.
Don't even bother trying to defend. Just get up there.
Big up Dark Sun G, brother. Really appreciate support. And then the Outland, he says Wolves' hairdresser will be super busy this morning because there's no Romero to worry about. That's definitely true. That is definitely true. Big up the Outland. It's good to see you take after me with my sense of humor, my man. Big yourself up and enjoy your bowl of Cheerios. Where are we going next with this? Yeah, so Philip, against Chelsea, we saw a drop in Sessegnon and Emerson's performance, although I do think Emerson was miles better than Sessegnon. Both wingbacks could actually potentially be up for being changed today if Conte wanted to. Do you think Conte will make any changes at wingback and maybe bringing in Matt Doherty, Ivan Perisic?
I think Perisic is the one we're wondering about whether he's fit enough to start. If he's fit enough to start, I think he will start. If he doesn't, I don't see Doherty coming in for Emerson. So if Perisic is fit enough to start, then he may come in for Sessegnon. Other than that, it'll be the same wing backs. In my opinion, I don't think he'll change it.
Interesting.
I think if Romero was playing, it's possible for Doherty to come in, but with Romero out, I just don't see that happening. We'll be so weak down the right flank. I think. Perisic for me should be a starter no matter what. It's astonishing to me at times that he's not on the starting lineup, but that could be a fitness issue. On the other side, Doherty, he just can't. He's not got the pace to get back ever, has he? If he's committed to attack, that's it. He might as well just stay there. So if we're playing Doherty and Perisic, it's a very attack-minded wing-back pairing. You've got to be strong at the back there. I think that's when you do need the back three and all the first choice back three, and you do need the likes of Bissouma in there. It gives you that solidity, that gives you the launching pad for us to play that way. So for me, it's probably going to be Emerson starting, unfortunately, because I think he's absolutely terrible.
I know how you feel on him. It drives you mad every time he plays. Big up Finbar. I'm from Kildare, man. County Kildare, brother. Hope you're keeping well. Look, for me, I'll be honest. I think I've seen comments from Conte during the week there basically saying that Doherty and Perisic are still working their way up to full fitness. So I'd be very surprised to see either of them come in today. I do think he probably will go with a Sessegnon and an Emerson. Look, for me, I would love to see Perisic come in for Sessegnon. I think there's a massive difference between the quality there. Is there a massive difference between Doherty and Emerson? I'm actually not so sure. I think, look, Doherty's probably get better going forward, but I think Emerson's 10 times better defensively. So not really much of a massive difference there. More or less like for like. But over the other side, it's a huge difference. And for me, I'd love to see Perisic come in. Look at the impact he had at that Chelsea game. The long throw-ins, the corner kicks, the free kicks, all on the money. He had a massive impact on that Chelsea game. He got us forward down that left-hand side where Sessegnon failed. If Perisic had Sessegnon's chance, it would have been into the back of the net as well. I would love to see Perisic come in today. I'm just not so sure he will start, but he'll definitely get minutes off the bench for sure. I mean, Philip, when Perisic came on, he had a few of the long throws into the box. Is this something we should actually try to utilize as a weapon, a bit like what Stoke did with Rory Glapp?
Oh yeah, why not? It's another attacking option, especially when the throw-ins on maybe level with a penalty spot or someone like that. Throw it in, get it in there, because it's not a tactic teams will have been used to seeing Spurs use, and could easily catch them by surprise. Okay, they'll have done their homework on Perisic. They know when he comes on, he's liable to take these long throws. But being prepared for them and actually dealing with them is one other thing. So yes, absolutely use it. And especially if his throws are as accurate as his corner kicks, bring it on.
I definitely think it's a weapon we can use. Just keep teams penned in their box, keep them under pressure. Because look, sometimes when we take these short throw-ins and stuff, we play ourselves into trouble. So if we're up around that 6-yard box, just give it to Perisic and let him absolutely launch it in. That'd be absolutely wonderful to see. I mean, Kuva's son is our corner kick taker, but when he was took off versus Chelsea, Perisic took them and he put in some inviting, delicious deliveries that we actually got on the end of. Davies' header just saved by Mendy, and then obviously Kane got on the end of one for his equaliser. Would you let Perisic take the corners from now on? And do you think we might potentially get a better return this season with Perisic on the corners? And I'm not diminishing Son's corner ability. I just think Perisic puts them in a better area, maybe.
Yeah, Perisic's top quality dead ball player. So, yeah, definitely. And the throws as well. The long throws specialists from him, I think. Yes, let's turn ourselves into the new Stoke City. Let's see if we can get Crouchy out of retirement as well. No, yeah, quality into the box. You can't beat it. It's what makes Trent Alexander-Arnold so good. If we got Perisic doing that from free kicks and from corners, I'm all for it. Keep Son lingering at the edge of the box to hitting a loose ball. It seems a good plan to me. You want your deadliest finishers in the box. You want the best delivery out there.
I agree. I think we're missing a trick. Keep Son on the edge of the box for anything that comes out, because that guy can hit them. We've seen that. So put Perisic on them. Dave Billabong is calling him Ivan Delap. Absolutely love that, Davey Billabong. Big up, my man. Absolutely quality. Now, guys, let's move on and transition into maybe talking about the midfield. Now, Antonio Conte, I went back and rewatched the game. He did not look happy with Højbjerg during the second half against Chelsea, despite putting in a decent performance in the scoring. He was pictured screaming at him and barking at instructions at him during the water break right after we equalised. As we know, Højbjerg and Bentancur had trouble all game long dealing with Chelsea's superior numbers in the middle, with Mount and Loftus-Cheek both dropping into the middle to create them overloads. And look, against Wolves last year, we could not get a grip in midfield. They dominated against us possession in both games, despite us winning 1-0 underneath Nuno. I mean, we have to get a grip in midfield today. For me, I mean, that could end up like you get grip in the midfield, you control the game, and you usually go on to win it. And especially with what the Wolves options have in there, Neves, Coutinho, then Donkor. They're after buying a new guy in there as well. So they have serious options in there, and we have to stop them from playing. So in order to get a grip in that midfield, do you think maybe one of Højbjerg or Bentancur could be dropped today for Bissouma to maybe give us more of a presence in midfield? And start with you, Philip.
It's very possible. It's very possible. Like at the start of the season in the build-up, I said our settled midfield pairing would be the two B boys, Bentancur and Bissouma. And I think that may be the way Conte is actually aiming. Now, whether it happens today or not, I don't know. Like these rumours about Højbjerg to Real Madrid, now, well, they're probably rubbish. They're going to unsettle the player, you know. And let's face it, he wasn't up to himself. That first half performance last Saturday or Sunday was pretty abysmal by Højbjerg and Bentancur, now to be said. But he improved in the second half and he got the goal. But it wouldn't surprise me if we did see the two Bs starting today. They're both, Bentancur and Højbjerg are both vulnerable to being dropped today. Now, which one actually is dropped, if any, is entirely up to Conte. He may leave it the way it is.
What one would you take out if you were, or would you actually start with two of them? What would you do?
Well, based on last week, I would give Højbjerg another chance, and that's probably purely because he scored the goal. Yeah. He got us back to the match. So if there is going to be a change, it might be Bentancur that goes out. Then again, Bentancur made that superb tackle, which the Chelsea fans will never believe was a foul. Well, that wasn't a foul.
That's true. That's very true.
And so, like they both did well in the second half, but it's a toss-up between the two, and Conte may just decide to leave the two of them in there with Bissouma as an option to come on at half-time or whenever, if necessity means he has to come on. But I think both boys know they've got Bissouma breathing down their neck now, so hopefully that will increase their level of performance today if they do start.
I hope so. Look, I'm very torn, but I'll give my opinion after Kuva, but I'm very torn on what to do today. I mean, Kuva, does Conte stick with both of them? And what would you do? Would you drop one of them and bring in Bissouma? And maybe why?
Well, we're talking about it on the other issue about the defence, and one of the options I was suggesting is bringing Bissouma in instead of Romero. I mean, playing four at the back isn't necessarily a bad thing. If you're bolstering up the midfield like that, getting sheer numbers in there, there's a few other ways of doing it. If you're worried about getting overrun there, we've also seen it in a few games last season in particular, where Emerson was actually playing like an inverted fullback, and he was drifting into the midfield area centrally. So if you want to get numbers in there, you can have other players taking on the role. Kulusevski could tuck in more. You can have Kane, obviously, when he drops back as well, he creates an overload in the midfield too. So there are ways of doing it. And for me, an obvious one is going to be playing Højbjerg, Basuma and Bentancur. Really get control of that midfield. It takes the pressure off the defence, and you look into launch attacks from the likes of Basuma. His passing is really underrated. The same with Bentancur. They can get the game going from back there. Højbjerg, when he's on form, can do it pretty well. Not entirely convinced with him, but he can do a job with it. If you've got the players looking for those passes and there's plenty of movement up front, it's still a very viable option. And it does give you the numbers. So there are ways to combat it without having to go man for man, like for like. We'll just see how it goes. It could be them that Wolves are more expansive, actually going forward rather than just packing the midfield as well. So see how it pans out. That's what management's for, isn't it? You adapt to whatever's happening on the pitch.
Yeah, no, 100%. You're absolutely spot on. Look, for me... Look, I'm torn. If you put Langley in the back line, you can get away with not playing Bentancur today. If you don't play Langley and you play Sanchez, I think you've got to start Bentancur. Look, me personally, Bentancur and Winks played in the midfield against Wolves last season, especially when we lost the game 2-0. We could not get a grip or a handle in midfield whatsoever. And that's why I think looking at it today, it's important to try and get in amongst their ball players and dislodge that ball at every opportunity you can get and get at them. Look, I would potentially maybe look at taking off Bentancur. I know a lot of people are going to say Højbjerg, but Højbjerg had a good performance in the second half against Chelsea. When you're looking at that team and you're looking at who stood up, who was counted, who fought even when things were going tough, Højbjerg. I know Bentancur made the good challenge, but he ultimately ended up getting taken off. He was not great, and he wasn't great against Wolves last season. In games where you need them ball winners, I'm not sure Bentancur is your guy. In the games where you want to look at the dominate possession, Bentancur is your man. For me, I think maybe it's his spot that maybe should potentially be up for grabs today and bring in Basuma. But like I said, if Sanchez plays, Bentancur has to play because we need someone to drop back, get on that ball and get us going forward. And we've seen the effects of Højbjerg and Basuma playing with Sanchez, Davies and Romero and Dyer against Roma. They could not get on the ball, and even when they did get the ball, they could not get turned because the ball wasn't coming into them quick enough. So for me, if Sanchez plays, it's got to be Bentancur. If it's Langley, you can bring in Basuma, in my opinion. But I definitely think Højbjerg has to play. I think getting guys in there that are going to win the ball, be industrial, chase them, look to dominate them, I think that's the way we've got to go with the midfield today. And you guys, I mean, would you agree, disagree?
No, that makes sense. Makes sense.
For me, I think Basuma can do what Højbjerg does and a lot better. I think he's more mobile for a start, covers more ground. He's much closer to being Kante than Højbjerg is, and that's the sort of play we really want to have, isn't it? So for me, Basuma, Bentancur, if we're playing with a two, that's the two for me. Bentancur against Southampton, of course, like you said, it's doing that possession-based thing. But he was dictating play. He's controlling the tempo of the game. He was superb. I wouldn't want to drop that out of the team. If games where we're chasing the ball in midfield, that's where it becomes a bit of a problem in my eyes. That's why you got a Basuma. He's a one-man wrecking machine. So don't worry about it. He'll do the job. Bentancur will get on the ball, spray the passes out, bring it on. Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. Look, for me, I think, games where maybe you're going to be chasing the ball, because we have to remember, as bad as Wolves are at scoring, they dominate possession in a lot of their games. And for me, when I look at it, I think we could be chasing the game today in terms of we're going to have to work incredibly hard to get the result we need. And for me, I would play Højbjerg and Basuma, if possible, just to get both of them in around there. Because Bentancur, he's brilliant on the ball. He can chase the ball down. We've seen that pre-season, but I'm not sure how much it's a desire in him to go around chasing that ball. I think he's the player that just wants that football. Moondog says, my Dyer bet is on. I can't stop. I mean, Moondog,
Moondog. You missed the opportunity, my man. You missed the opportunity against Southampton. You do realize you're going to go another 37 games this season, putting on a 5 or 10 on them, and it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen, Moondog. I've given up hope on your Eric Dyer coming in, considering he scored when you didn't put it on.
I think he'll have even less opportunity to get forward this game.
Yeah,
because Romero's out.
Yeah, 100%. Look, if my money was on any centre back to score today from a set piece, as much as I don't like the guy, it would be Sanchez. Yeah. You know, he's the best centre back at attacking the ball. So it probably would be Sanchez, even though I don't rate him. So maybe Moondog counteract your Dyer bet with maybe a little sneaky 5 on Sanchez as well. Big up, brother. Really appreciate the support, my man.
You know what's going to happen now? We talk him out of the Dyer bet and in favour of Sanchez, and then Dyer scores.
And I can't be held responsible either. Can't be held responsible. William Kelly says start with Bentancur and Bissouma, the big B and B. I mean, Philip, would you agree with what William's saying here, Bentancur and Bissouma?
I'm not going to disagree with it. I mean, as I said earlier, that's my preferred midfield pairing going forward. So it's going to happen some stage. So, you know, it could be today.
We'll wait and see. Look, Højbjerg is not as bad as, and I'm not saying you guys are making him out to be a bad player, but I'll see Højbjerg being the first name to be dropped. But he can't be that bad if Real Madrid are looking for him to replace Casemiro. Look, I like Højbjerg, but look, I get he's not everybody's favourite player. But yeah, look, maybe it could be Bissouma and Bentancur going forward. William Kelly. Look, I would like to see Bissouma and Højbjerg today just to get some industrial action going in that midfield. Running around, winning the ball, being nasty, being mean, and getting a grip of it. But then I also worry without having Bentancur, how do we get the ball into the forward line? Because if it's anyone that can do it, it's that guy. And if you're looking for it, like when you do get on top of midfield and you're looking to dominate the game in terms of possession, it's Bentancur all day long on the football. So, look, it's a tough one today. It's a tough one. Let's see what Antonio Conte decides to do. But guys, I just have to run off and run to the Jacks because my lovely fresh spring mountain water is running through me. But I'll start with you on this one, Kuva. When Richarlison came on versus Chelsea, he changed the game. Is there an argument to start him today ahead of Kulusevski or Son to keep Kulusevski and Son on their toes? Or will Richarlison have to make do with taking up a spot on the bench?
We'll just answer that with a quick flat no and then just have some dead air while we wait for Dave, shall we?
Yeah.
No, I think Richarlison, of course he's going to be pushing for a starting place, but I don't think we can give in to that yet, if you like, because let's face it, Kane, Sonny, Kulusevski, why would we break up that trio from last season? I think we've had two games. One of them we smashed 4 goals without really relying on Kane and Sonny. The other one against Chelsea, we got dominated and they found it difficult to get into the game. Still Kane come up with a goal and still we got a couple of goals and we're still undefeated. I don't think there's any rush to get him into the team. I think it's great that we can just bring him off the bench at this point and he'll just patiently wait for his chance. There'll be an injury at some point or somebody suspended or just having a pretty bad game perhaps at one point and he'll just come on, liven things up. Or we might be chasing a game and all 4 on again like we saw against Chelsea. There's options we didn't have last season. He's very much part of it. He'll get plenty of game time this season. It's not a worry for me. What do you think, Philip?
Yeah, no, he won't start. I mean, Conte's not going to change Kulusevski, Son and Kane, no way. But what's good to have about Richarlison is he came on against Chelsea, and while he didn't do a huge amount, he unsettled the Chelsea defence with his running and his presence. So it'd be a great player to have on the bench if, as you say, we're chasing the game after 65, 70 minutes to bring him on against a tiring defence. A fresh pair of legs against, centre-backs who've been running around for a while. So, yeah, it's a great asset to have on the bench, something we didn't have last season to come on and take the pressure off the lads up front. So, yeah, he'll get plenty of matches. He really will.
Do you think Richarlison sort of pushes the others to perform better as well?
Yes. It's the old competition thing again. Each player has got somebody looking over the shoulder at somebody else. And in the forwards case, it's the 3 boys. Well, not so much Harry Kane because he's nearly untouchable, but Son and Kulusevski will be looking over the shoulder knowing Richarlison is on the bench. It's the same with the boys at the back and the same as the boys in midfield. There's competition for places now. Something we really haven't had up to any great degree in recent years. So now we have it. And Richarlison is going to be the one that's going to push the forwards to go even better, because if they don't, they know he's going to be on in place of them. And nobody wants to be sitting on the bench or out of the squad in this team at the moment.
Which is a good place to be in.
Yeah, for me, it's nice to have the option now. Take last season with Vinicius coming in for Kane or something like that. You'd worry about that. Dane Scarlett coming in, you'd worry about that. But one of our front three out of the team now, Richarlison comes in. No, I'm not worried about that. I think he'll do well.
Yeah.
Do you know what? For me, as much as it is harsh on Richarlison, because look, he was woeful on the football. I think every time Richarlison touched it, he probably lost it. But his presence, his endeavour, and his work rate really did help us get into that game, like Philip was alluding to. But for me, look, you can't drop Kulusevski or Son just yet. Like, I get Son has been poor for 2 games. Kulusevski ran right against Southampton, was poor against Chelsea, and look, Kane ultimately scored against Chelsea. So for me, I think you've got to stick with Son and Kulu today. I think if anybody's going to have the answers to break Wolves down, it's going to be these 2 guys. So for me, as harsh as it is on Richarlison, he's just got to keep fighting, and he's got to bide his time. The time will come, and he probably will take it. But for now, he's just got to keep his head, do a spot on the bench, and keep looking to change the games from the bench to put his name in to maybe get in a place in the starting lineup. And I know it may sound harsh, and I know that's why we brought Richarlison in here to add the competition in. But for me, I think it's a huge gamble dropping a Kulusevski or a Son. Although Conte did do it against Leicester last season, dropped Kulusevski and started Lucas Moura, and look at the reaction we got from Kulusevski. You know, he came on, played unbelievable against Leicester, and played well for the remainder of the last few games. So Conte can do it if he wants to, but
I think context, though, isn't it? I mean, last season, Kulusevski perhaps did go off the boil a little bit. Needed that little kick up the arse to say you can't just take your foot off the accelerator. You've got to go for it. But I think the start of this season, different context entirely. We are talking away at Chelsea as one of the games. He got marked out of it. So did Sonny. There's no need to panic over it. If we get to like 6 games and they're still all not firing, then I'll definitely start worrying. But we're not at 6 games. It's the first 2. And let's face it, we smashed 6 goals in 2 games. There's nothing to worry about our forward line.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I mean, I look at the goal records. I mean, scoring goals has never been a problem at Tottenham. So for me, what is it? 33 in our last 13 Premier League games or something like that we've banged in. So
We scored more goals this year than any other team in the Premiership.
Yeah. I think across Europe as well, I believe, Philip, actually. I think that extends
Possibly,
to
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so I think we all agree here, Kane, Son, and Kulusevski starting today. Now, guys, last thing I do want to maybe touch on before we get some score predictions is Conte has actually shown Wolves a lot of respect in the build-up to today's game, saying we're talking about a really good team who in the last week have signed 2 really important players, Guedes from Valencia and Nunes from Sporting Lisbon. They have really good players in Ruben Neves and Podence. A lot of good players. They are a really good team. Don't forget, last season we lost 2-0 at home. He also said in his press conference he would be reminding and warning the players about the 2-0 home defeat last season. Do you think this is going to be a really difficult game for us? More difficult than maybe what fans think, Philip?
Sorry, who are you asking?
It's not going to be an easy game. There are no easy.
Go on, Philip. Go on.
I think he's just frozen.
Your internet's gone
in the Premiership. There never are.
Philip, your internet froze. Your internet froze. Do you want to start again? We couldn't hear you. Go on now. We can hear you now.
No, gone again. Shall I go? Goodbye, Philip, a few minutes. I think taking teams for granted has always been a big issue with the club, a fan base in particular. It's great that we get carried away. We all enjoy it. But we've seen so many times we'll go, oh, yeah, it's an easy win. Oh, it's just Wolves. will smash them 4-0, 5-0, and it doesn't work out that way. There's a big saying about, there's no easy games in the Premiership anymore. Occasionally there are, like Norwich when they're already going down, where they get torn apart. But the likes of Wolves, no, that is not easy. You have to work hard for that. We have to match them for every bit of effort, and then assume that our superior talent will overtake them, which we're making the assumption on, because although clearly we've got some world-class players in the likes of Sonny and Kane, there are weaknesses in our team still. Have Wolves got more weaknesses throughout the team, or are they just like a better sort of more evened out team? That remains to be seen. All that matters is we play to our strengths, and we play well, and we match their work rate. If we do that, we'll be okay. If we fail in any point of that, they'll punish us. That's what Premiership teams do.
Yeah. Philip, I mean, look, me and Coover are a bit on the cautious side today. I mean, yourself, and Conte's on the cautious side today as well. But yourself, I mean, like I said, Conte's showing them a lot of respect in the build-up. Are we expecting or should we expect a more difficult game than maybe what fans think today is going to be?
No, I think we know from last season it's not going to be easy. It never is easy against Wolves, But I think this Conte giving respect in the press conference, there's a bit of a tongue-in-cheek element to that as well. He's probably told the players, "Fuck these lot lads, we're better than them. We're going to win tomorrow." So I think there's an element of gamesmanship going on here. You have to show respect to another team. Now, how often have you seen a Premiership team going in playing a League Two game in the cup tie, and the manager say, "Oh yeah, well, a good little team they are." He doesn't really mean it. He's telling his own lads, "Listen, they're crap. Go out and smash them." So there's an element of that going on. It'll not be easy today. It'll be 2-1 to Spurs at most, I think, but we will win because we are a better team than them. End of story.
Yeah, look, I do think we're a better team. I think where Conte is coming from, he's well aware that if we don't turn up, we very easily get rolled over. So I think the fact that he said to the journalists he's going to be reminding the team of it, I think that's a warning shot to make sure they're ready for today. As well, coupled off with the early kickoff. Well, you watch most early kickoffs around the Premier League. It takes the teams a little bit to kind of get into the game, get going. That makes me nervous a bit today. I believe Wolves will be coming down thinking, why can't they replicate what they've done here last season? So I believe they'll have momentum coming down here today. But look, it's up to us to stand up to that today. At the end of the day, we're not going to have every game going our own way. So we have to stand up today. We have to accept, because of some of the performances last season, teams will come down here expecting a victory, believing they can beat us. And that's where we have to step up today. We have to make this home ground a fortress this season, especially if we want to deliver out Conte's ambitions, which is close the gap on our Liverpool and City. And that starts with at home. Now let's try and make another unbeaten season at home like we did last season at White Hart Lane. That'd be absolutely epic. But Tottenham, because of our performance last season, we have to expect teams are going to come here thinking they can turn us over. But, we have to turn up and we have to say, not today, guys. Sorry, we're sending you back up to Wolverhampton with your tails between your legs. And that's what we need to do today. But look, guys, I think we're coming to an end. So, I mean... I was
going to say one really quick thing about Wolves. Last season, they finished 10th, and you think, they can't have been that good. But it's only because they went on that bad run right at the end of the season. I think it was 7 games they failed to win, and they're still only 7 points off finishing 6th place. So this is a team that is well capable of getting into a top 6 again. So don't take them lightly.
No, just you mentioned there the 12:30 kickoff scenario. I looked it up there. Someone did a survey on the teams playing 12:30 matches over the last 10 years. Spurs have a 39.76% win rate. We're mid-table. We're 10th.
I didn't need to hear that, Philip. I didn't need to hear that.
I'm only saying that's what it is. So we're not absolutely brilliant at 12:30, but we've won matches there, and today can be a continuation of that.
It's a season for improvements for us. So this will be one of them.
Guys, anything else? Any last things maybe you want to say to people, or any last points you want to make before we get your score predictions, boys?
Get that. Telling anyone that's going to the game today, get that atmosphere going. Get the atmosphere of the last North London derby replicated again today, and scare the living daylights out of Wolves. Because it worked with Arsenal, so why can't it work with any other team?
Do you know what? I agree with that, Philip. I was on with Tottenham TV saying it, and I also put a little thing in the group chat when I watched the last All or Nothing. The fans had Arsenal bet before they even got into the stadium. But the fans also had the referee thinking and pundits thinking before that. Because the way it was built up, the atmosphere, the booing, the flares, the songs, the referee realised the magnitude of the occasion before he got into the stadium. All the pundits were made realise the magnitude of the occasion. Chelsea team or the Arsenal team, I think this is a brilliant piece of engineering. And I know Kuva might not agree with me, but I'm actually going to give Daniel Levy credit here if he was a part of the planning. The fact that the teams, when they arrive, they have to get off the bus and walk down the pitch in front of our fans to get into the changing room. When our fans were there booing that Arsenal team, they were bet before they even got into the changing room. And then when you look at the speech Mikel Arteta was given before the game, you look at Rob Holding, his legs were shaking. He was already bet and nervous before he went out there. That then replicated into the referee because of the fans making them realise the magnitude of the game, given the decisions he gave us in that game. Also, when you see Rob Holding's legs shaking like that before he goes out in the speech, and then he goes out and gets a red card in the first half, it just goes to show to me that the fans are incredibly important as well. When I looked at us doing the warm-up for that game, we were zipping the ball around. The players were alert. They were ready. And that's because the fans were in there early singing, getting the game going, building it up. So the fans have a massive part to play at home this season. Look, last season, I don't like criticising fans. I really don't. But last season in some of these sort of games, the atmosphere was very, very flat. And it can go rub off on a team. And that's why I encourage anyone that does go to these games, get in there early, boo the teams as they're walking through the stadium. Get the atmosphere going while our team's out training and doing the warm-ups and stuff like that. And try and create the very best atmosphere every single home game because it can make a huge difference like it did in that North London derby.
Yeah. Just to further that, I remember the Brighton game. I remember the noise at the start of the match was absolutely deafening. I said, here we go. This is great. This is what I want to see. But as the play developed and Spurs were not doing it, the anxiety in the crowd was reflected in the reaction of the crowd, and it actually transmitted onto the pitch. So positivity at all times is what's needed, because anything less than that will get back to the players.
The crowd wasn't so good in some of these games last season. Weren't you at this game last season, David?
Yeah.
So it's your fault then.
Yeah, I was at this game. I was at a few games last season.
Sounding loud enough, mate.
Oh, I was. You could hear me. Believe me. You could hear me screaming at Winks, if anything. You could hear me, trust me.
Yeah, I think when he said about, I'm not keen on Daniel Levy. No, I'm not. But when it comes to things like the stadium, can't fault the man.
Do you think that's a smart bit of engineering on the stadium, making the opposition walk through the stadium before the game?
There was a lot of thought went into a lot of things there. Creating that wall of noise that we got now, one of the stands, and things like it came up when I think it was Sky who started losing some of their technology in one of the games. We'd got the built-in backup system, all the wirings in place, so we don't lose out on the televised stuff. Genius! It's thinking well ahead. He's so good at doing some things. It's just the recruitment side of both staff and players that I've got the problem with.
It's a bit like back in the old days in Rome. The Christians and going into the Lions, going through the Colosseum, walking through the crowd before they were thrown to the Lions. It's a similar thing to that.
Yeah, I think it's absolutely genius. I really do, and I mean, this is where the fans need to capitalize on this and realize the fortress we have there and really capitalize on it. But look, guys, I mean, we're coming to an end. So if people, you have enjoyed the show today, feel free to put in a super chat. Let us know that you have enjoyed it. If you don't, I take it you haven't enjoyed it. But look, Philip, what's your score prediction, brother?
2-1 Spurs.
2-1 Spurs. Kuva, what's your score prediction, my man?
I'm going 2-1 as well. I think Sonny to get the 1,000th goal and Kane to break Aguero's record for. So, good day all round then.
Yeah, look, 2 records to get. Well, first, it's not a record; it's a milestone, scoring 1,000 goals at home. But look, Harry Kane, I think, will be ready and firing today to break Aguero's record. I believe Son fancies that, scoring that 1,000 goal, and I believe Kulusevski will turn up regardless. For me, despite my reservations,
Kulusevski 2 assists. Yeah, that'll do.
Yeah, it would be really nice. But look, despite my reservations about our back line, I still believe we'll have enough to go out and get to the win today. I believe the mentality Conte has instilled in this team is different. Evidence against Chelsea coming back when we didn't play well twice. So for me, I don't think we'll keep a clean sheet, but I'm going Tottenham 3-1 today. I think, and I know Wolves don't concede a lot of goals either, and they don't score too many. I do see them scoring today with that back line, but I also think we'll be a different animal today, and that's my hope. That's what I'm going off. So I'm going Tottenham 3-1. KPV, big up, my man, new channel member. And make sure you have your Kulu sexy shirt on today, my man. Big up, KPV. An absolute bore has gone 2-0 and a clean sheet. Look, I really hope we get a clean sheet because for me, I need some sort of confidence in this back line going forward. Because for me, if I don't get a clean sheet today, we're doing what I said all summer we'd have to do is slap teams 3-2, 3-1, keep scoring them amount of goals, and it's impossible to do it every single game over the course of the season. If we get a clean sheet, I'm all for it, and I will keep my mouth shut about that set. No, I won't, actually. When the window closes, I won't do it again. I won't mention about bringing in a centre-back because nothing you can do because the window's closed. But if we keep a clean sheet today, I'll keep my talk about the centre-backs to a bare minimum because I'm well aware people are getting pissed off with it. But then again, I'm here to deliver the truth. That's why my parents made me, because they said this guy's going to be the truth teller. So that's why I'm here. But look, we are going to end it off there, guys. You can see me over on We Are Tottenham TV at 11 o'clock. I'm back here for the watch long at 12:15 p.m. today. Hopefully all you guys can join us. But before we end off, Philip, my man, tell people where they can find you.
Oh, just on THFC Till I Die as well, and on here for most of the fan shows and the previews.
And the watch-alongs now at halftime and full-time.
Oh, yes, absolutely. I watch a halftime and full-time on the watch-alongs.
And what's coming up on THFC Till I Die, my man?
Yeah, there's tonight it'll either be a Gary Mabbitt special or a review of the match, depending on. Let's say if we lose, it'll be a Gary Mabbitt special. If we win, it'll be a review. It'll be a review of the game. That's about 8:30 tonight.
I love that. I love that. Everybody, please get over, check out THFC Till I Die. Smash that subscribe button. Regardless of result today, you're going to get a good show. Gary Mabbitt or a preview or a review of today's game. So get over there. Check out THFC Till I Die. You also see Dermatron, Ellie, Isan, people like that over there, along with Philip. So get over. Check it out. I mean, Kuva, what one are we going with today? 3 Spurs boys?
Oh, 3 Spurs boys tomorrow night. Kuva and the Kang. That's our little section. We'll just do sort of 1 hour weekly slot. What I'm aiming to do with Bobby K. But otherwise, it's Bob Spur TV tonight. It's the end of week wine gang where we play all the silly little games and roast each other really offensively.
Yeah. If you're up late and you're bored, definitely tune in for sure. Definitely tune in. It's a good crack. You guys get over to the 3 Spurs boys here. Watch the Kuva and the Kang. You know, make sure you get over. Give Bobby K 2 boys a support as well. A nice little channel there. You'll also see interviews with Ali Gold, which is actually quite rare in this community, guys. So get over, check them out, and smash the subscribe button. And also get over and check out Bob Spur TV. William Kelly says, I hope we don't have light bulbs a moment like Arteta. I mean, honestly, I always... The guy is an absolute melon. He's such a fucking melt. I mean, he pulls out this cord and this light bulb like he's Einstein, like he's after discovering electricity. And I'm just sitting there, I'm looking at him. I can't believe what I'm seeing. I'm sitting there thinking, is the guy a genius or is he an idiot? And for me, I decided he's a first-class idiot. Because if I was in that dressing room, I would be taking the piss out of him. And it's not only the light bulb, it's the PA systems pretending they're playing in Anfield. It's the diagrams, the love hearts he's drawn. And for me, he'd only get away with it with these youngsters. That's why Aubameyang couldn't wait to get out. He had no respect for the idiot. You know, and he'd only get away with it with these youngsters and with some of the stuff he's going on. But honestly, pulling out the light bulb like he's Isaac Newton is fucking ridiculous. I mean, guys, we'll let you have your quick thoughts on the light bulb moment before we end off. I mean, we all love it after Arsenal.
Listen, I wouldn't even waste time talking about him, to be honest. He's such a joke of a manager. I mean, his team talks are about as inspiring as, I don't know. let's just say he wouldn't be a good general in a war battle because he'd lose every single one of them.
I mean, Philip, would you be inspired if he pulled out a light bulb and started telling you to shine bright?
No, I'd be sort of scratching my head. So what the hell am I doing here? You know? Who is this joke they're calling our manager? You know?
So true. It is so true. I mean, I couldn't believe it. Pulls out the light, puts it together, and starts going, "You can shine bright. You can shine bright." I'm sitting there. I feel like punching him. Anyway, I mean, Kuva, what did you see it? I'm sure you've seen the light bulb moment.
No, I haven't watched it yet. I was going to binge watch it all week, but I know about the light bulb moment. All I can think of is he better hope that light bulb doesn't appear over the head of the chairman when he realizes this is a shit manager.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. We put their lights out anyway. That's one thing.
Yeah,
they were better at half-time. If I was an Arsenal fan, I'd be worried about Arteta's half-time speech. He already ripped the game off at half-time and said, "Oh, we'll just focus on Newcastle." This is a North London derby, by the way. I mean, It's absolutely shocking. And then William Kelly says, me and Luke were watching it, and Luke turned to me and called him a gobshite. I mean, look, if a kid's calling him a gobshite and has no respect for him, I mean, he just says what we're all thinking. William, it's good to know that Luke is a yid true and true, my man. That's good to see. As long as he wasn't inspired by Arteta's little shenanigans, that's the main thing, my man. But look, guys, we are going to end it off there. Like I said, see you all back here at 12:15 today for the watch along. As always, come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
Trust. And just remember, when Harry Kane scores 1,000, he's one of our own. Make sure you say it.
Exactly.
Everywhere we go.